Una didn't know to Maryland was say Boyo. But Boyo basically ever since those are way back. Those are historic things. Una Boyo to again to way back. Nobody doing Boyo to again. In fact, it was not that I say, you know. If you don't know what Boyo means, you on your own. Where are you from? Who are you supporting? Counter meet. Yeah, the OK conversation is right here on the OK FM 99.5, and we are here. We will continue to play our part to talk about the things that matter, and a whole lot of things really do matter, and this is why we are here. Indeed. You go explain Taya. Share the video. Invite others to join in. My man Lorenzo Boga says that not BB English and play football. So stop that thing. But we talking about Abella. When it comes to football, even though they said the time we are doing Coco and Missy, that time really wrong, but this year is our time. It is our time. Let's take a quick break with some of our sponsors here. Okay. Let's take this break. Okay, let's go.
Your favorite RLJ Kennedy Resort and Villas is new and improved with top-notch first-class services guaranteed to make you feel pampered and special as our royal guests. Ideally located on the RI Highway, a few minutes drive from the rehab junction, right in front of the Atlantic Ocean, you are assured of a peaceful, serene atmosphere of a home away from home. The ingredients for our Liberian meals are freshly picked from our garden to give you that unforgettable taste of Liberian cuisine. Our villas are designed and equipped to ensure every night spent with us is a memorable one. We are well positioned to host conferences and seminars of all sizes, as well as outdoor events like garden weddings and parties. Book your upcoming events and leave the rest for us to handle with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. You can reach us on 0770-533-415 or email us at reservations@kendejaresort.com.lr. Visit our website on www.rljkendejaresort.com.lr. RLJ Kendeja Resort and Villas, for memories worth repeating.
Do you need a car?
Ready for an upgrade?
Then come to Sika Motors, sole distributors of Toyota vehicles, Mitsubishi vehicles, and Yamaha motorbikes, genuine accessories and spare parts.
You name it, we have it. We have the 2022 brands of Toyota vehicles. Select from our new Toyota Starlight,
Toyota Belta, Toyota Rush.
We've got the best deal in town through our Sika Motors financing schemes with selected banks, EcoBank Liberia and UBA Liberia, starting at the lowest as $500. You won't believe these prices. Come for quality, reliability, and durability. Take a spin and let's make a deal.
Sika Motors on UN Drive at Sailtown, Bushra Island, or call Sika Motors on +231 775 987 758 or email cmarketing@cfao.com. Sika Motors, drive with confidence.
Banking Institute of Liberia, the training arm of the Liberia's Bankers Association and the Central Bank of Liberia, announces the commencement of its professional training program in the following categories. Professional development training. This targets graduate and seniors and degree holders. Courses we offered include microfinance, banking and finance, public accounting and finance, audit and internal controls, procurement and supply chain management, monitoring and evaluation, compliance and corporate risk management, work planning and report writing, office administration and organization management, customer service and human resource management, project planning and management, and computerized accounting, which includes QuickBooks, Excels, and Tally. Duration for this program is 3 months. Tuition is just US $275. The second program covers business development training. The Banking Institute of Liberia also offers training for high school graduates and college students in small business development and management and microfinance management. Duration for this program is just 2 months. Tuition stands at $205. All of our fees are payable in 3 installments. Training program at the Banking Institute of Liberia are facilitated by bank executives and financial experts. BRL is committed to providing professional training to all of its clients at international standards. For more information, visit the Institute's office on Warren and Kerry Street's intersection in the old microfinance building of the Central Bank of Liberia. Banking Institute of Liberia, the Center of Excellence in Banking and Financial Management Training.
Welcome back. This is the OK Conversation. So, Laurie, Richbook, Wilson C. Cooper says, good afternoon to you as well. Daniel Tente from Tinker Village, Going Weir is following. Abu Eskamara is following. Janje Bakbe says, Grandbassa all the way. You will have to negotiate with Bong and Bobby to decide who comes to Monrovia with the very effervescent Maryland County. JD says, good afternoon. He's following from Rescue Center. David Johnson from Oro Kiho.
Can you please play the recording of the guy that said the exchange rate won't go up?
Ben knows himself. I don't know which defense he will pull up now. Abe Waka Fode Kamara from Johnsonville, Buhuman, Emmanuel Lehman from District 15, Ibrahim Dukley from Claratown, Ezekiel Divine Tenney says he's following, as always, Bintu Dukley, he's following from Dole Community, Ibrahim Sharif, Grand Cape Mount, Vojo Siama from Bassa City of Dwazon, Magibi, beautiful Bassa City of Dwazon, Magibi County. Ruben Kane is following, and Sukumu is following, Charles Wayegbe, 72nd. So a whole lot of you are following. But who made other men? Sedewon Jebo. He says international partners, EU, USA, Embassy, ECOWAS, etc. did not vote in Liberia elections. You all stop calling on them each time.
You call on your politicians you voted for. It's not good, man. Okay, so yeah, so this is the OK Conversation on OK FM 99.5. Again, the counting meet kicks off, and this year we have to carry it to the palm butter, the rich palm butter cooking, Maryland County. We have to carry this thing now. It has been a long time. So we have to carry it. Yeah. Okay. So a whole lot of things have been happening. The police had a news conference on yesterday. We're not going into that today. Next week, we hope to have our rule of law analyst, policing, security, and all of that next week
He has written something very long. We hope to take you on that in terms of so far the implications of the news conference about the fire at the Capitol. So we will do that with him. So that is why we're not talking about that today. We don't have the luxury of time to go into that. We want to review very important things about our country. We told you we always focus on the very important things. So recently, Ghana inaugurated, in fact, it was yesterday or the day before yesterday? Yesterday was Wednesday, it was Tuesday, the day before yesterday.
Yeah. So on day before yesterday, Ghana had the inauguration of John Mahama returning to the presidency. And I want to read something. And things that I have said, or that I would want to say, if people say them or write about them, it will be important to make their voices to be heard, because it adds to the conversation on our country. Whether we like it or not, we all know we have a country that is bedeviled
with a whole lot of challenges. We are shackled here and there with different things, existential problems. Sometimes things that should have been dealt with long ago, things that we should be way above or beyond. But we've been shackled by our own inability to handle some of these things. Let's read this. It is titled, Liberia Deserves Excellence.
A tale of two inaugurations. Watching Ghana's recent presidential inauguration was both inspiring and sobering. The ceremony was a masterclass in organization, stagecraft, and national pride. Every detail, from the president's attire to the decorations, symbolized Ghana's identity, history, and aspirations. It was a celebration of excellence, a reflection of a nation that takes pride in doing things well. In stark contrast, Liberia's 2024 presidential inauguration was disorganized, uninspired, and devoid of the symbolism that should define a nation of nearly 200 years. It reflected not just a lack of resources, but a lack of ambition and a willingness to settle for less. Liberia, once a leader and inspiration on the continent, has lost its way. We were once a nation that others, including Ghana, turned to for guidance and capacity. In the 1950s, when Ghana gained independence, it looked to Liberia for financial and technical support in building its government. Today, Ghana stands far ahead of us, a model of progress and excellence, while Liberia struggles to meet even basic expectations. How did we get here? The turning point was 1980, when Liberia veered off its path of excellence. The visionary leadership of William V. Stutman and William R. Tobert Jr. gave way to decades of political instability, economic mismanagement, and a societal mindset that normalized mediocrity. Tubman's era brought infrastructure and institutions that symbolized national pride: the executive mansion, the Capitol, and Cape Palmas were not just functional, but aspirational. But since 1980, we've moved further from this standard of excellence. Today, Liberia is stuck
in a cycle of improvisation, content to aim for 80% instead of 100%. Public policies are created without research or consultation, and our institutions fail to embody the values they are meant to represent. Take the University of Liberia, for example. We train engineers, yet the campus itself suffers from chronic plumbing and sanitation issues. This glaring contradiction speaks volumes about our national mindset. The issue runs deeper than politics or regimes. It is about the mindset of a nation that has stopped demanding the best from its leaders and itself. Leadership matters, but so does societal accountability. As much as leaders can discipline societies, societies can discipline their leaders. Ghana's transformation under Jerry Rawlings and Rwanda's progress under Paul Kagame are testaments to what is possible when visionary leadership is matched by a disciplined and ambitious reject the complacency that has taken root in our governance. Institutions, and even in our daily lives. It is time to demand excellence, not as a privilege, but as a right. As a nation, that we deserve good things. And act accordingly. Liberia deserves excellence. Liberia deserves good things. It's time to make that. A couple of days ago, greed, sycophancy, my deep reflection on why Liberia is where it is after a year in government. So I'll give his background, then I will go straightly to how he breaks down these things. Yeah, let's do that quickly. He says, my background and context. Before getting elected, I had never worked in government. My background has been mostly working in the private sector and as an entrepreneur. Over my career, I have been blessed to have worked for firms such as Deloitte, McKinsey, Gartner, through Point, EDS, and with clients such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, PwC, Merck, Johnson & Johnson, leading businesses in technology, strategy, and transformation. We jump over all the other things and go to in 2020, I ran for the Senate in Nimba, but was not successful. Instead of leaving, I stayed with my people, living among them, farming and sharing in the struggles. God, their trust and support led to my election as the representative, a responsibility I hold with deep humility and gratitude. Over the past year, I've learned hard truths about the challenges facing our country. The boiled down to 3 words: lack of leadership, greed, and sycophancy. Leadership requires courage and decisive action, yet we often fall short. Greed has held back progress, depriving our children, teachers, and communities of the care and resources they need. Sycophancy silences truth-telling, allowing mediocrity to thrive. He breaks down leadership. Leadership, let me break it down for you all and start with leadership. Nothing significant will change in the next 5 years unless our president finds the courage to make bold decisions and take decisive actions. At present, he is perceived as hesitant, and this perception extends even to our international and regional partners who are growing increasingly frustrated. Diplomatic hints have been sent repeatedly. Yet, repeatedly, yet they remain unheeded. These hints have turned into warnings, but still, no meaningful action has followed. I spent much of 2024 observing and learning, and what I discovered was disheartening. With respect, Mr. President, my uncle, if those around you are not sharing this truth, let me say it with love and urgency. Your current indecisiveness and lack of leadership will harm your administration and, more importantly, our nation. This is not about personal criticism. It's about course correction for the good of Liberia. You often remind us of your commitment to change. For 177 years, man, we must change this country, he quotes the president, and that's quote unquote. But we need to see those words backed by action. It's time for self-reflection, for embracing the responsibility of leadership, and for making firm decisions that inspire progress and hope for all Liberians. Liberia deserves better, and we need your leadership now more than ever. Greed. Regarding greed, as my brother Costa aptly said, man can talk all. Now I understand why this nation remains stagnant. Now I understand why our children lack the care they desperately need. Now I understand why education remains underfunded. Now I understand why LEC remains unreliable. Now I understand why women continue to die in childbirth and our infant mortality rate is among the highest in the world. Now I understand why our teachers are underpaid and undervalued. Now I understand why our roads are in such deplorable condition. The consequences of greed are painfully evident, and it is heartbreaking. Until we change many of our leaders, greed will continue, and Liberia will continue to be what it is. The caveat lies in the last point below, sycophancy. Sadly, sycophancy will likely show itself even here, with defenders and apologetics coming under this post. Sycophancy empowers and enables greed. It fuels and perpetuates greed, and it's a significant part of our problem. It silences truth, rewards mediocrity, and allows harmful practices to thrive. Let me state this clearly. We are also where we are largely because of sycophants like you, who will clearly see that the country is not proceeding in the right direction, but remain quiet to save your job, friendship with your inner circle, and proximity. You are the cowards and sycophants I'm talking about. If you feel a pinch of hate in your belly, then I am talking to you. We lack independent voices willing to speak truth to power. Many will pretend to speak truth to power, but as soon as they get a little job, a water contract or consultancy, they abandon their advocacy. Yes, if you feel this is in your belly, you are a coward and sycophant. You are not authentic. No one is asking you to speak up against the administration you are working for, but stop the sycophancy and simply keep quiet. Too many surrounding our leaders choose flattery over honesty, and that weakens the foundation of effective governance. No government is perfect, but after 177 years, we must ask ourselves, why are we still here? It's time for truth, accountability, and leadership that prioritizes the people over personal praise. If we can fix the leadership challenge, the greed challenge, and the challenge of sycophancy, we can fix this country. If we can fix our mindset, we can fix this country. Having served in government in a year, if this was not a calling to serve, I would have resigned and gone back to my business, because the pettiness and nastiness of our politics has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with making our people's lives better. Let me reread this phrase. The pettiness and nastiness of our politics has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with making our people's lives better. But as I reflect today, I am deeply reminded of the calling God has placed in my life. I vow to remain steadfast in this journey no matter what the challenges ahead. I vow to speak truth to power with courage and conviction, to use every lesson I've learned to strengthen my resolve, and to work tirelessly for the betterment of our nation. Every day I will dedicate myself to improving lives and advancing progress. This is my unwavering commitment to serve, to lead, and to help move Liberia forward. On this day, I humbly reaffirm this vow. Two things tied together there. I guess you see the connection. Let me take you to a third one. About a week ago, Amrakone wrote this. Although macroeconomic stability has improved since the elections, the Bwaka administration's first year has been marked by significant challenges, mistakes, and missed opportunities that officials will publicly admit. There has been no new considerable investment. Electricity issues persist. High unemployment has increased, and drug use has increased. The legislature is chaotic and benign and largely acts as an extension of the executive branch, making work there frustrating. The geopolitical presence of China, Russia, and the US is undeniable, and global economic trends are increasingly uncertain, with anti-incumbent candidates gaining traction in elections worldwide. Political governance in Sierra Leone has become exceptionally toxic. Elections are on the horizon in Côte d'Ivoire this year, and security issues persist in Guinea. I recognize the desire of regime supporters to defend everything, including failures, but acknowledgement is the crucial first step in resolving challenges. Governance is like football. Sometimes you score and sometimes you miss. It is what you do after you have missed that counts the most. As we reflect on 2024, what direction will Liberia take in 2025? Does President Boakai need a new approach? To be successful, leaders need dissenting voices among their advisors. Please share your insights so your leaders hear from you. They all read my page. Okay. Three things tied together. And I know Deputy Minister Daniel Sano responded to Minister Amrakane. Let me see where I can find that quickly. Good. Yeah, today is a reading day. Because what we're trying to do is to enlighten you more, giving you some background into why we believe certain things that we're trying to push forward. As you've listened to the different readings, I hope you have formed for yourselves an opinion that is grounded in where our country is and where do you think it can go. Do you think we are taking the right actions we should take as a country, whether it is the leadership, whether it is we, the people? What is the general mindset that we have for moving our country forward? Are you okay with where we are, how we are, what we are doing? Is this going to lead us to where we want to go? We want to hear from you. It is important as we are in the first month of 2025. Every year, your age, my age, our ages are going up. We're getting older. Are we on the right path? Yeah? Okay. Oh, yeah. This is what Daniel Sando wrote in response to Deputy Minister Daniel Sando wrote in response to Senator Amara Kone. You abandoned your legislative functions for 4 solid months in violation of the Senate rules. And all you do after returning from your safari is come on Facebook and post negativity about the country to paint a picture that nothing good is happening. This is wrong. You have been receiving your monthly salaries and benefits from the Senate while in the United States on a private contract. This is a conflict of interest, and I think the leadership of the Senate should be concerned as well. We all talk about fighting corruption, but the president alone cannot lead the fight against corruption. The legislature has a pivotal role to play. On this score, I am concerned about your role as chair of the Joint Public Accounts Committee from the Senate. The PAC is the only committee that receives budgetary allocation to enhance its work. The legislature has been in session for over a year now, and not a single report has been submitted. If that's not part of the problem, then I don't know. Maybe you should be held accountable to the great people of Bapolu for neglecting to represent them in the Senate. It is his response to the issue raised by Senator Amara Kone. Does Liberia deserve excellence? Does Liberia deserve better? Are we able to get it right? Are we able to do better than we're doing? Or are we doing okay? Is it okay? When you read Werner's piece, he brings in historical insight about, or historical perspectives about what Liberia was, what it could have possibly been, the intervening crises and issues that have brought us down to where we are. But of course, we should be far away from this place now because it's been long we've been out of war. But then there is a mindset, according to Hume, of mediocrity. Tawangbe brings in the perspectives of now, not having served in government before, and now he is in government and he is seeing that, okay, this is why we're here. Lack of leadership, greed, sycophancy. I am here. I'm seeing all that is happening. I'm part of the Senate's foreign, the House's Foreign Affairs Committee, head of it, as a matter of fact. I see and I hear a whole lot of things. Now I know why we have these problems. It is a tough one. We are in quite a situation. I encourage Julius J, I encourage people of high stature, people in leadership, whatsoever, to write, to speak to things that are happening. It is very important to do so. And their voices will be heard. Senator Amara Kone gives a perspective about the 1-year leadership of the government, and he thinks it really hasn't kicked off yet. Now, this is not an isolated voice. This is an Ash supporter, someone who served in the United Party's government the previous 12 years, and also was the dialing boy by the tail end of the election, someone who was seen as having a process that made it difficult for the previous administration that it was considered may have stolen the election. His involvement, many believe, whether that sentiment was true or not, was significant. He was the hero. He was the dialing boy and all of that. And he thinks, well, we brought this, but 1 year on, we have not found our path. the issues of drug abuse, the issues of electricity, the issues of the development of investment continue unabated. And we have to do better. The deputy minister comes in, doesn't really say anything whatsoever about the claims made. Just said, no, this is what we've done in this area, this is what we've done. But takes another approach. And ad hominem one. Ad hominem. ADHOMINEM. That's why he takes personal, different, by far removed from what he said. And he brings out very important revelations. Now, the senator has been away for 4 months, he's breaking Senate's rules and blah, blah, blah. Those are very, very important critiques. But you know what the problem is? It is almost like you doing something, you say, if this is not part of the problem, he poses it there. So it's like he's agreeing that what the senator said is true, but he said he got a problem. So if the senator had not put forth his concerns, then Minister Senator would not have raised the issues he raised about the senator, right? So the senator should not have talked. If he talked, then why he's doing to okay, like allegedly, that he's not in country, he's not working, but he's taking pay and all of that. So he did not ever raise it. 4 months. He did not ever raise it. And of course, it's a claim to follow. I know Nyanti has been following on that, but next week, we'll see if that is true. But you know what the problem is? The deputy minister did not raise it. He did not raise it with the people of Babolu to raise it with their senator. But the senator should keep quiet. If wrong things are ongoing, he should keep quiet. We keep quiet on this other side. You do your own of wrong, I do my own of wrong. Oh, we keep quiet. Nobody talk about it. Then that's okay. You see where we are? Huh? Liberia is troubled. And I'll repeat what I said. Was it on Monday? I've heard some glowing prophecies. Outsiders, people who are not Liberians, people who are Liberians. I've heard some bad prophecies. Outsiders, insiders. But I always like good prophecies. I'm a fan of good things. I love growth and development. I love beauty, the aesthetics of life. I love things to be better. I love things to work well, to be okay. So I like to hear that, yeah, the country will do better. I like to hear it. But you see, when good things are prophesied, if you don't do the right things, they will not come to pass. Good things do not come about in isolation. And this is why all of us always have to try. When people speak up, it is not that they are against the president, they are against the government. I always argue that all of us are pro-government, whether you like it. If you think you are the harshest critic of a president, of a government, you stay pro-government because you wanted to do right things. Yeah. It is better to highlight, to make our governments do the right things. Because at the end of the day, it's in the interest of all of us. And some people argue, the U.S. minister is that it is not the responsibility of government to create jobs. It is the responsibility of government to create the enabling environment. And I stated here, and I will restate again and again, that it is a bold-faced lie. That premise about the creation of jobs, it is the responsibility. It is one of the main reasons people go to elections. Even this particular election that ended, job creation was promised by the United Party government. It will be in the arrest agenda that will be released next week. It has to be there. It was spoken about.
It is one thing people evaluate governments on job creation. It is the responsibility in a democracy, in any form of government, in fact, of a government to create jobs. People do not elect private sector. People do not hold private sector accountable if jobs are not created. It is the government. It is the government that decides how it will create jobs through private sector, through its own initiatives and whatsoever. It is government's responsibility to create jobs. So when they rating the government, it will say the Wakai administration created 1 million jobs, 500,000 jobs, 100,000 jobs. It created only 1,000 jobs. Even if one of those jobs are not employees of government, it is the government that created it. And every government should take pride in jobs that they create. Yeah? So we deserve excellence. We should do better. All of us. We have issues. And we have to rethink where we want to take this country, how we want to do it. We gotta get sick and tired of this notion that at least the other person is not doing what the other person was doing. We should demand excellence. If we say something was wrong, it should always be wrong. If we say it was right, it should always be right. And these are the realities that all of us have to confront. Because at the end of the day, if the country does well, gets better, it benefits all of us. If it doesn't get better, all of us will struggle one way or the other. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. Again, we're trying to create the consciousness required for all of us to see our country differently. And I'll encourage people, a whole lot of professional people, sometimes it's difficult for them to write because of what people will say, things that people will do, to even come on air. It's difficult because of how polarized the society is. Locked down in this UP and CDC thing. Once you critique government, then you for CDC. Once you say the government did right thing, then you for UP. This kind of mentality, it has to change. So whether people do not support either of them whatsoever, they become afraid. You know. Okay. 777-700-995, 555-995-995. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is Cabinet Entrepreneur, and I do foresee some more of them.
Your line is bad. Your line is bad. We're not hearing you. Okay. Well, you went off. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm fine, Chief. Go ahead.
Thank you, my brother. This is Lauda calling from
Okay.
and let me commend you. And what you say is 100% true. Government areas, they are saying that government don't provide job for citizens, but the government also responsible to prepare the labor we got. And you see Indian men move from India, just for you to market, you see they're paying 1,800, making how much? 300, 150, $60. Why Indian men? This is not Indian country. I'm not trying to use them as COVID. But this is the land we got. And this is the area we have right, and nobody will be well for here. So the blessing of this country shall start for us, not for enough. So if the people claiming that they can provide job for, government can provide job for people, all right? So they should also help out the labor we got them up prepare for us, right? Look at the foreign national today. They involve in wholesale, they involve in retailing. Government ministry and labor ministry, that's two ministries are there. Their ministry is something. The inspectors then get over there, you never see them one are there to stop those people not to do that. But you got a lot of little pastors today. Then you get money because you go to open your leg shop, the Lord man got to know that you're making leg for you can't open. And he got importing power. You not got importing power. He got overseas connection. You don't have overseas connection. You going back when you to council to get your one or less. What the man will do, the man will jump up, you start bringing continue. Maybe if you use $2 application and no account, you can open you. At the end of the day, how much you will be selling it? $1.50. Even if he get it 50 cents, but somebody getting it in bulk, they satisfy him. Right? So, why you say it's 100% true?
Okay.
If they're claiming that they can put them, just create them. I think the lemon one will get it.
No, then you should not allow them claim that it is the responsibility of government to create jobs. Yeah?
Yeah.
It is our responsibility. Lead that thing. Thanks so kindly. Nobody will run away from creating jobs. No. Nobody. We will not allow anybody to run away from that responsibility. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Julius. This is Executive Kevin. I do join on every show call.
Go ahead, Chief.
Julius, you know, most of our brothers, when they come in government, you know, they don't know. I don't know whether they don't know the functions of government, but I bet you, if you are running campaign 2023 and just come on and tell the Lebron Bossy, when I win, I will not get you a job. Who are going to vote for you?
Yeah. So, you know, when we come to power, we win. It is not our responsibility to create jobs.
To government, you're looking in the Lebron offices and telling them that government is not responsible to create jobs for the citizen. Are you serious? But again, thank you, my brother.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Julius, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Julius, I just want to say, you see, the writing is becoming explicit. Writing on the wall, rather. You know, Tan Nagwe was
Wongbe.
Tan Wongbe is still the guy on foreign affairs, right?
Yeah.
He traveled extensively with our president.
Yeah, they went to South Korea, yeah.
To hear him speak the way he is speaking, having sat with the president and have conversation, it speaks volume. To say our international partners are frustrated. This is a man representative of international affairs or foreign relations or foreign affairs.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to have given such an information, it is deep, very deep. I want to just take a look at Daniel Sanders a bit. You know, Daniel Sanders failed to address all of the cogent issues raised by Senator Amakone. But he chose to go like, and you're part of the problem. And the legislature is supposed to make report, they not make report. And you're not working, you're taking pay less seriously. I pity our country, Julius. I pity our country simply because Senator Connell spoke about the massive increase in unemployment, corruption, drugs. Those are the things that the deputy minister should be addressing. That look, we are fighting unemployment, we have employed this amount of people to say, yeah, we're fighting corruption, yeah, this is what we're doing, drugs. But because the reason why he couldn't defend them is because they are doing absolutely nothing to fight them.
Thanks so kindly. Well, hold that. Let's take others. This person says, hi, Julius. We the people are the problem. We usually show too much loyalty to our government officials, even when they are not doing the right things. Our loyalties make them to become lawless and careless. We should find the good and praise it. Identify the wrong and criticize it. Ernest Belé says that. Let's take who's here. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, good afternoon, Julius.
Let's hear you, Chief.
Yeah, this is Ernest
Mm.
I'm frustrated to where I am now.
Why?
Okay. I don't know who cataloged the wiki for Will Advise Implementation.
That's Star Wumbe.
That one we cataloged 3 wiki.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I want it.
What is it?
Well, one is hypocrisy. Right? For example, when one wiki is in power, the one that wants to take over for that one, criticize, you can't do this. The one you're doing is wrong. The one you're doing is wrong. If I get there, I want it too. By the time they get there, hypocrisy begins. the one that in power will dress the power looking to make it to look like it's good. Yeah, what we are doing is right. By the time the power they come back to opposition, then the thing when it was thinking that it was good, now start dressing it to be like it's bad. That's the hypocrisy part of it. They get 3 reasons for will, for example, anyway. Let me get 4 reasons. I listened to the civil ministry the last time talking that you are posting, we are contributing 8 billion to the budget through what? Through job creation or through or how do you call it or permits.
Permits. Work permits.
Work permits from who? From foreigners. From foreigners, they are never catalog how many Liberians you are employed, how many Liberians you are made possible for them to get jobs. All the construction companies are right here. You go there. The last time I went to Seti Borough, somebody cut on my car to go to Seti Borough, I went to plastic. Julius, I almost cried. Can you imagine? For somebody to receipt, the Indian man handle receipt. While I was pushing, we about that, no, put I want to then in that one, there will be sweating. Can you imagine slavery mentality they put over there?
Thanks so kindly for his hours coming up. Next, we will delve into. I told you all this year we're focusing on all of the very key important issues. There's job issues, employment issues. We'll focus on it. We will deconstruct. We'll make sure this minister will apologize for saying it's not government responsibility. We'll deconstruct this working business in this country. People keep complaining. A whole lot of terrible things are happening. People are slaving in their own country. And the government official will sit down and say it's not government responsibility to create jobs. We have a whole lot of issues, but we will not hold back. We will continue to highlight. And Mr. President, I implore you, I beg you to listen to these voices that critique you. People who highlight some of these things that are not going okay. People will try to obfuscate you from seeing and knowing about these things. But I hope sometimes when you're in your car, in your office, you put on some of these stations like us that will highlight some of these challenges. Because at the end of the day, it will serve you and your government well. Up next is Forest Hour at 5 o'clock. We will be back.